Hello, I'm Clark Crawford, and welcome back to the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Today's edition will feature an Astros versus Tigers series preview as the series gets underway tonight on Friday, May the 10th, a three-game series in Detroit. Astros and Tigers, two struggling teams coming into the series, so both teams in desperate need of some wins. We'll see who comes out on top. To kick off today's edition, here are the standings in the AL Central and the AL West. The Tigers, as you see here, are sitting at 19 and 18, place in the AL Central. So a 19 and 18 record, well, it's much better than the Astros. And if they were in the AL West, they would be sitting in third place, not in fourth place like they are in their division. The Guardians and Twins are off to fantastic fast starts for their respective, and the Kansas City Royals are right behind the two of them, actually tied with the Minnesota Twins for second place. Now, for the Astros side of things, they've fallen back into the cellar of the AL West at 13 and 24, half a game behind the Los Angeles Angels, and they are 8 games back of the Texas Rangers in the division. So it's not pretty right now. And of course, you needed a better showing in New York, but here we are now. You can't change the past, and all you can do is look towards the future, and hopefully they can figure it out here in Detroit this weekend. As I mentioned, two scuffling teams as of late. I'm going to talk about the pitching matchups of the series. To kick things off, Framber Valdez, Astros Southpaw, will start game one of the series on Friday night in Detroit. Framber is 1-1 on the year with a 3.97 ERA. He's been pretty solid. His last outing, Framber gave up 5 runs and 5 in the third innings and a 5-0 loss to Seattle last Saturday. So Framber got roughed up in his last outing. He's looking for a bounce back start on his young season, in only 22 and 2/3 innings so far pitched, as he spent some time on the injured list, as we all know. Now, Tiger starter Casey Mize is 1-1 with the 3.98 ERA and 31 and 2/3 innings. Former number 1 overall pick Casey Mize, he's been okay for the Tigers, nothing special, number 1 worthy pick, but in a couple of career appearances against the Astros, he's had a ton of success. So the Astros are going to need to figure him out tonight, because if they don't, they're looking at another loss on the season, and, well, another one they can't afford. They've got to start stringing some wins together. Obviously, some losses are going to come, but wins are needed, and they're needed now. They need a good 10-game win streak to not only boost their confidence, but to jump up in the standings. They've been atrocious so far. There's no secret about it. For the series on Saturday night, the Astros will send out right-handed pitcher Christian Javier, coming off of the injured list, to make this start. He had one appearance at affiliate the Corpus Christi Hooks, where he threw about 70 pitches in his only rehab start within the last week. Javier, coming off the IL, he's 2-0 with the 1.54 ERA and 23 and a third innings pitched. In 23 and a third innings pitched, Javier was excellent in his couple of starts before going on the injured list, and the Astros are hoping they can get the same out of him. I would expect his probably pitch cap for tomorrow is somewhere in between 75 and 85 pitches, because it's kind of like only a second rehab start. So don't expect too much out of Javier pitch-wise, but that doesn't mean he can't at least get you through the 5th or into the 6th inning if he's efficient with his pitch count in Saturday's start. The Tigers will counter with their southpaw, Tarik Skubal. He's been one of the best pitchers in the major leagues so far this year. He's having a breakout year. I doubt expected stars this year. Skubal's been excellent. 4-0 with the 1.90 ERA and 42 and 2/3 innings, 53 strikeouts, so averaging over a strikeout per inning. I mean, this guy's been fantastic for the Tigers. I expect him to continue to be a breakout star. I mean, the guy's been electric, and exactly what the Tigers have needed. They need a true number one, and Skubal is starting to look like he could be a potential long-term number one. So hats off to him on a terrific season, and I hope he continues it, except against my Astros on Saturday night. So I hope he gets roughed up on that start. But other than that, hats off to his great season so far. And other than facing the Astros potentially twice this year, I hope you have a great year. This afternoon game will be a battle of veteran right-handed pitchers. Justin Verlander starts for the Astros. He's 1-1 with a 4.43 ERA and 22 in the third innings pitched with 15 strikeouts. His strikeout numbers are down so far this year, and in his last start, he got roughed up in New York, giving up 6 runs. Verlander was not good in that start. It was pretty pitiful, to be honest. The Astros needed him to be good, and they really needed to take at least 2 out of 3 in New York, which they failed to do. Another blemish on the season, but the good news is the season's not over, and you're only 37 games in, headed into the series. On the Tiger side of things, they'll be starting right-handed pitcher Jack Flaherty. Their semi-big, not the biggest offseason acquisition, but the biggest one for the Tigers, as they're still developing a younger core, or at least hopefully developing for their sake a younger core. Flaherty's 0-2 with the 3.86 ERA and 42 innings pitched so far, 56 strikeouts. So a ton of strikeouts for Flaherty. He's been pretty good, even though his record doesn't show it, but a 3.86 ERA is more than respectable. So the Astros have their hands full with Flaherty, who's punching out hitters at a high rate. Could be the best pitching matchup of the series, as Justin Verlander, we all know, is a former Tiger, former draft pick of the Tigers, was there for a long time. He's making a homecoming to Detroit. It's not his first, but you know he's going to be fired up for this start. And of course, Jack Flaherty has been the Tigers' second best starter so far this year. To his own right, he's going to be probably fired. He's going to be fired up as well to be facing off against Justin Verlander. I expect it to be a really good, lower scoring game. To get into the offensive side of things for this series, for the Astros, Tucker, starting things off for the Astros, leads them with 11 home runs. The last game of the homestand and the first 2 games in New York, he had a streak of 3 straight games with the homer that ended on Thursday, but he has 11 on the season, hitting .268 with 25 RBIs. He's been your second best offensive performer so far this year, right behind Jose Altuve. And of course, Jeremy Pena has been third. But just because Tucker has 25 RBIs, driven in the most runs on the team, I put him second, just ahead of Jeremy Pena. Now, the aforementioned Jeremy Pena now leads the team in batting average, and he has a .377 on base percentage. So Jeremy Pena's been excellent. That new swing is paying off so far. Hopefully, it can continue because the Astros need him in his new number 4 role in the lineup that was presented in New York. He's probably going to stay there, at least for the time being, and maybe a lot of the rest of the season. They need his bat to continue to be hot. The Detroit Tigers, we have Riley Green as their power source so far this year. He's got 9 homers and also leading the team with 17 RBIs, along with his .254 batting average. A solid year. Riley Green's a solid, young, 20-plus-year-old player, and he's having a nice season. If he boosts those numbers a little more, he could potentially be one of the Tigers' all-stars. Probably a dark horse right now, but nonetheless, he's having a good season. Tigers' leader in batting average is Kerry Carpenter with a .269 average with a .330 on base percentage. So kudos to Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter, really trying to carry the Tigers' offense that has struggled so far this year. Pitching leaders so far this season for both teams. Ronel Blanco leads the Astros in ERA at .223, wins with 4, and strikeouts at 41. He's dominating a lot of the Astros pitching categories, which when you pitch as well as Ronel Blanco has done, I mean, it's hard not to lead the Astros in a lot of these categories since so many pitchers on the team are struggling with their ERA, picking up wins, and striking out a lot of hitters. The Astros have had a lot of struggles pitching-wise so far this season. Now, Tarik Skubal leads the Tigers with a 1.90 ERA and 4 wins, And to his credit, he also has 53 strikeouts. He's only 3 strikeouts behind Tigers leader Jack Flaherty, who has 56 on the year, as I highlighted earlier in the video. But Skubal and Flaherty, they both deserve some more recognition. So I'm getting it to them right here, going through their numbers yet again, even though I already highlighted them pitching in this series. Teams coming into this series have lost 4 out of 5. I think it's kind of a coin flip of which team is going to step up and, well, win this series. Going through some of the numbers, the Astros team average is 258 so far this year. The Tigers is 227. The Astros have scored 13 more runs than the Tigers. The Astros are also ahead of the Tigers in hits as a team, 48 more hits than the Tigers. They've hit 12 more home runs, a 24 percentage points ahead of the Tigers in on-base percentage, 324 to 300. Slugging percentage, not great for either team. Team ERA, the Astros have a 5 ERA, and the Tigers, who have had a much better pitching staff, have a 328. Also, strikeouts, the Tigers have the advantage, 325 to 302. So just a few of the numbers. I'm not going to go through all of them, but here's a few of the numbers in case you were curious of some of the team numbers for both teams so far this year. That's mostly all I have for you so far today. I gave you the Astros versus Tigers preview, went through a lot of the numbers, expecting pretty much what to expect in this series. Should be a lower scoring series as the Tigers' offense is not as great. And the Astros pitching staff, even though they've struggled, I think they have a good chance to shut this Tigers offense down. Now, the last two things I want to mention before I end today's episode. Number one, Alex Bregman's been so bad so far this year. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat at the plate so far this year with his struggles, as they seem to be continuing going on and on and on. He did go 2 for 4 with 2 singles yesterday, bringing his season average to a whopping 198. At this point, praying he figures it out soon. Hopefully yesterday's 2-hit performance gets him going, but I'm not holding my breath on it. Lastly, a quick little run through of another set of numbers. The Astros are 13 and 24, as I mentioned earlier in the video, headed into tonight's series opener against the Tigers. It is tied for the 5th worst record in franchise history through 27 games. Just another little note I wanted to throw in there for all you fans out there. That's going to do it for today's episode of Clark Crawford Sports. I hope you enjoyed. Like my video, comment on it, subscribe to my channel, as there's plenty of Astros talk, as I mentioned, all year long. This is just another video. If you're watching till the end, I'm going to have another Astros live stream on Sunday after Sunday's action, probably going to be around 4 p.m. Houston time, sometime after the game, probably in between 4 and 4:30. So look out for that, all you Astros fans. I'm going to be doing another live stream, my 3rd so far this year. There will be plenty more after, so watch out for that. That'll do it for me here at Clark Crawford Sports. As I said, like, comment on my videos, subscribe to my channel. I know more of you need more Astros I know more of you out there need more Astros content. You're craving it like I am. I'm a huge Astros guru, huge sports fanatic. So here's more Astros content for you. I'll be giving more and more as the season goes on. So signing off from Clark Crawford Sports here. I'll see all of you in the next edition of my live stream coming up on Sunday. Thanks for watching.